Hello, I'm James, this is Lola.
Hello.
And in this video, I'm going to show you how we turned from an empty van, empty shell, into what she is now, a home on wheels. So,
is that all I own to you?
not now, right? Anyway, let's get into it. So the first thing we've got to do is take out the floor so we can put the insulation down. I've already found that 2 of the bolts are spinning. I'm sure Dad's got some tricks up his sleeve. So that's the floor off. We're going to put plenty of insulation down on the floor, but now we've got to take out the bulkhead because that is going to be a free passage between. We're going to swivel the front seats, driver seats. That will be the lounge. So now, having done most of this kind of insulation here, what we need to do is put on this woolly stuff, which is actually made from recycled plastic bottles, which is really cool. So this stuff, which is quite thick, fills the voids between panels and slats that we put on against the walls or the actual van's panels. Right, so for a little bit more light and ventilation, we have a couple of skylights that we're going to put in to the ceiling. These Fiamma, that's the brand, Fiamma. One has a fan in it, and we're going to put that one above where the kitchen's going to be, which is on a little console we're going to put here. That one's going up there, and then we're going to have another one in the opposite corner down there above the bed, which doesn't have a fan in it, but just having one fan will draw air through, so that should work out quite well. We've marked the holes in, which we're going to then cut through the hole that it needs, and then these ribs don't help, but we've got some acrylic to put between the ribs and then seal it off, so should work. Done the both, there's now a hole all the way through the van. So the procedure is to clean it with standard glass cleaner. Then they provided these activator cleaner wipes, and that's only on the ceramic part, not the actual glass itself. Then you want to apply the glass paint primer, and after that the actual sealant / adhesive. And then cross your fingers. The original panels are back on. They haven't got a particularly nice finish, even if they're painted. I wanted to put some pine slatting over the top. We've gone for the tongue and groove type, so the slots together. Screw that into the original paneling. Also put some wood glue on the back of that, so it should be really strong, which would allow us then, when we're putting the bed frame in and all that, and all the other things, hanging up, shelving and stuff, then it should be pretty strong. So now that the walls are done, we're going to go and do the ceiling. Same kind of insulation, the sticky back stuff with reflective on the outside, then the woolly stuff that's made from recycled plastic bottles, and then slatting going on the top again. So this is how far we've gotten so far. It's actually been relatively straightforward. Stick them in place, drill them in situ, countersink them in situ, and then put the screws in. No glue required. The ceiling doesn't take any weight, so it should be fine like that. Right, we've managed to put all the slatting on. Got it on the doors from the bed height above that you'll see. On the walls, on the ceiling. Got to put something in the corners up there to finish that. The undercovers of the skylights need to go in. Yeah, it's all finished now. Basically, internally, what happens now is put the furniture in, and the bulkheads and the bed and all the fun stuff is going in now. So yeah, turning it from just a shell into a home. So this is where the batteries will be stored, as well as some storage units. We've got to cut the hole in that to get to access to some more plastic boxes like those up there. But anyway, it's a seat, but the batteries go underneath, so batteries go in there, and there we go. We got the hole, and that's where the boxes are going to go. So behind the driver's seat, we got this other seat, and we thought it'd be ideal to have a table between the two. So we rigged this up against the wall. A table leg, just out of an old broom handle. Just unlatch it at the top, stick the leg in the low case on the floor, and there you have. Table made out of 18mm ply, pretty solid, should do the job. So this is the kitchen area. Finished it off with a Korean worktop surface with the backsplash around the edge. We've got a gas bottle in there, water tanks, so fresh water, and then a grey water tank that comes from sink, and the cooker's on the outside here, which we can put on the top surface, or we've got a table that folds out on the outside, so we can cook outside if we really want to. Right, so this is the junction box that is going on this roof on the outside of the van. We have glands here that have the 3 positive leads coming in, the 3 negative leads coming in. They'll all attach on these connectors here. The positives go through diodes, so the current can't be reversed, and then we've clamped them all together so they've gone parallel, and then we send the leads out through this hole here, which is the one that will go through the roof. And then on the other side, what we'll do is we will put some of the sealant around, well, first of all around the whole box and around the screw holes that screw it to the ceiling, and then also around this hole here, just to be extra safe. So for some AC current, so I want to power a blender and maybe a couple other things that require AC current, got ourselves an inverter, 1500 watt pure sine wave inverter. Definitely want to get pure sine wave. Gonna mount it behind the main bulkhead under the bed, because over here we can then have sockets. Put the blender on the top of the seat contraption. I should do the job. Better wire that up, cut some more holes. Up the socket, and there's a plug on the end which goes straight into the inverter. Now I've got this on the back to tidy up this wire, and we have an AC socket that's good to go. Okay, so we reached a pretty major milestone now that the electrics are in and they are working. So nice LED strips are on, all courtesy to our battery power. It's working, worked first time, couldn't believe it. Here is our battery bank. So we have two 120 amp hour leisure batteries in parallel, keep that voltage at 12 volts, but double the storage essentially. We have the inverter running directly off the batteries because it can draw quite large currents. It has its own breaker switch here at 32 amps, I believe. So here is the inverter control panel, switch it on. Panels are above, they send down their energy to the charge regulator. So this is connected to the batteries and to the DC components in the van. Nice little unit. So yeah, we have a little fuse box over here. All the leads coming in from the solar panels to the solar charge controller to the batteries, all in there. But obviously this is on a shelf where I'll have some clothes in that. So just made a little thing to cover them up. So just a little angle panel. There we go. Sorted. I'm gonna paint it same as this. So she works. She's ready to go on that front. I just got to wire up last couple of things. The fan for the skylight. I think we're going to also put a light in the garage. So a little sort of diffuser style LED. Switch that on and hopefully it'll illuminate the garage when you need to find some important things in the dark. Okay, so we got a swivel for the driver's seat, but it turns out we can't actually swivel it around with a pair of seats next to it, or the steering wheel gets in the way. So what we've done is we've bought a swivel for the pair. So here she is, a pretty solid piece of kit. It's going to allow us to swivel a pair of seats as well, which means you've got 3 seats in the lounge. So the thing about this seat is the seat belt for the window side seat has a sensor, and once you put the base plates on that swivel, you need to disconnect that wire and then pass it through the pivot bolt, which has a hole drill through it, which is specifically for this purpose, and then resolder those wires together and reconnect it. Because if you don't, you find that if you switch the engine on and they're disconnected, the control system will freak out that it's not connected, and then even if you do reconnect it afterwards, it will continue to give you an error and you have to take it back to Mercedes, so best to avoid that. So the custom mattress has just turned up. Let's see if it fits. So it's 10 centimeters thick, so 2.5 centimeters memory foam, 7.5 centimeters of this firmer foam that this company True Sleep had to offer. So first of all, let's see how it fits, and then we'll see whether it's comfortable. Would you look at that? Perfectly fits in the corner over there. Looks really good. Well, first let me lie on it and see what it feels like. Well, that is really nice and comfy, so I'm sure I'm gonna get plenty of good sleep on this baby. So great purchase. Really should have put that light up in the top corner over here, so when you want to sit back, you're not gonna knock it off, but actually it's enough width to sit down without sticking your feet in the shelving unit over here. So yeah, that is really cool. And so bedside table is over here. It's got a beam on it at the moment. Bedside table, light, mattress is perfect fit. Bloody hell, brilliant, absolutely brilliant, brilliant. Yeah, now we put down the floor, which is this vinyl stuff. Nicely, we'll actually go stick it down to the floor underneath, but it should be quite easy because you can cut with a Stanley knife, so no jigsawing and circular sawing to get straight lines and sounding and stuff, just a Stanley knife, and yeah, stagger it like this. So yeah, hopefully it should look really nice when it's done. So we took the executive decision to get hold of a heater of some sort, because the last thing you want is, if it's freezing cold, to not be able to warm up. So what are we going for? One of these diesel heaters, so an Eberspacher, basically a Chinese knockoff of one of those. You have the combustion inlet and outlet, your fuel line in, you have the inlet for the air that is going to be heated. There's a heat exchanger at the back, and then that heat will be going into through some ducting. Big duct down here comes out inside the main cabin, and so you've got a big fuel tank which we're going to put here, and then we're going to mount the heater itself on top of the wheel arch to use that space. Try and be as efficient as possible with the space we've got. So this is the layout of the heating system. See, the exhaust comes out, goes through exhaust silencer, and then down out through the floor. Got the fuel tank there, fuel pump and fuel line going in, and we've also got the exhaust of the heated air which comes through this pipe and comes out into the cabin area. So that's the curtain in. This is actually just curtain backing, which we bought, and it was the right sort of colour, so it's all good. Another hook down here just to keep it out to the side, but yeah, nice and simple. Stash it up here when you're not using it. Keeps most of the light out. Bit of privacy when you get changed. So a little tip, you don't want to buy some Mercedes Sprinter specific blinds with magnets on because they'll probably be quite pricey or whatever. If you've got any of your insulation left over, you've used the kind that is that 5mm thick rubber with the reflective layer on the back and adhesive on the other side, well, we've cut out from the leftovers blinds that fit perfectly into the window space, and then obviously reflective on the other side, so perfect. We want to put some magnets on, and we're just going to make little pockets to put them in and then sew them on so that they stick to the framework. So they do their job insulating, keeping the heat in or the heat out. But yeah, good way to use up leftover insulation. Now before I show you the finished product, I'd like to say big thank you to Lorna, Chris, Alex and Leo. Thank you so much guys for putting your time into helping this van come together. I'd also like to thank my mum and dad for putting up for me for 2 months at home, and also my mum for providing us all this fantastic food while we built the van, and last but not least the Don, my dad, for all his expertise, his skills, everything he taught me and all the effort he put into making this what she is today. So without further ado, come inside. Thank you so much for watching the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Till next time.
Take care of yourselves.